lovely people. Another beautiful week ahead of us, and thank you so much again for joining. Those who were joining me on radio, who joined me on Radio Pop, and those who didn't join, of course, this is for you. We were talking today about Americans. Basically, Americans, Black Americans who are repatriating back to Africa, one, to rediscover their roots, and secondly, to pursue the endless possibilities that they've discovered in the continent, which I think is just wonderful, and it's a story to look out for. So we've discovered this couple that just relocated. In fact, there's a lot of them, but I think this couple, I selected them because they're like so active in this. So they came to South Africa for the World Cup and fell in love with South Africa and never, they just kept on coming back here until they settled. And I know so many of them as well. So this is Dr. Mark Blayton and Dr. Natasha Blayton, and you won't believe it. They just live off my backyard here in Centurion. So it's not that they're coming back to go and stay in Cape Town and Clifton. No. They are within and amongst and during the people. That's how much they're loving South Africa. And it was so wonderful that I even wanted to make a list of if really I had to sell Africa to my colleagues in the US, what would be my top 10 things on the list? And I know the first one would be the food, and the second one would be the weather, and the third one would be, of course, the music and the people. And of course, this is in no particular order, make no mistake. But also, guys, remember that Haile Selassie said that when he's addressed the diaspora, and he said to them, freedom before repatriation. So I believe that our freedom is very near. I mean, when we look at Pamela Harris being the deputy president, the first Black Asian president, deputy president of America, freedom is near. So I think that Black Americans should really start making their way back home, because they are set and appointed and prophetic time to repatriate has really arrived. So also, guys, I want to say that, we grew up thinking that Black Americans, they had their noses in the air, they looked down on us. But I don't think that is the case, guys. I think we just need to meet each other halfway. We need to bridge our way across to each other. So let me play you something nice from the clip from this couple, so you can see why I'm so excited. I think once you see this, you will understand why I'm so super excited. So please be ready.
Dr. Natasha Blanton are an African-American couple who live in Centurion. Among their business ventures, they run a website, therealsouthafrican.com, a platform that aims to provide fellow African-Americans an experience that is the antithesis of how Africa is portrayed in the United States. And they're joining us this evening to talk to us about what drew them to South Africa and how their counterparts have found Mzansi, where they joined the couple. Good evening, and thank you so much for your time tonight. I'm going to begin with you, Mark. What attracted you to South Africa?
Well, it was a trip that I came on many years ago, back in 2010, during the World Cup. And then once I got here, I heard many things about South Africa, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But once I got here, it was absolutely incredible. The outreach and the pouring of love that I got from the people here. So that was the biggest draw for me to come to South Africa.
And have we, as South Africans, lived up to your experience in 2010?
Absolutely. Every day is great here. We actually enjoy our time. We're just happy, to be part of the experience and have the opportunity to get the chance to, learn all the cultures and the languages and things along that line. So it's definitely, reached up to my expectations.
And Dr. Natasha, I'd like to bring you into this conversation. What perceptions did you have when you were first making your trip to South Africa?
I didn't really have any real perceptions. I had no real desire to actually come to Africa. There's a lot of African Americans that feel the same way that I do, simply because of what we're told about the continent in general. And then when you're thinking about South Africa, the only thing you ever hear about is apartheid and a lot of the crime that goes on. So when he came here in 2010 and his mind was blown and he came home and wouldn't stop talking about it, to the point to where the South Africans that he met while here were so welcoming and they decided to invite us into their home, when we came for Christmas in 2011, it just made sense that I had been wrong about what I had been told my entire life regarding the continent, especially South Africa. So my perceptions were quickly debunked when I got here, and I was like, I feel like I wish I had known about South Africa much sooner than I did.
And let's talk then about this website. It's a website to debunk the myths that a lot of, as you say, African Americans have about the continent and South Africa. What prompted the two of you to start it?
Well, it's a very good question. We would go back and forth on a regular basis when we owned our own company in the United States, so we were able to leave, when we could, normally for like 2 weeks at a time, maybe a month. So every time we went back and forth, we had friends of ours that kept asking us, what's the deal? Why do you keep going to South Africa? Like, what's really going on over there? And it got to the point to where it was like, okay, we need to, we can't actually reach out to everyone. So we made a website, and we chose the name The Real South Africa simply because we wanted people to get to know the real South Africa.
And how has it been received? Are you finding more and more people are curious and coming through?
I would say a lot more people are curious about coming through because even when you do a Google search for South Africa, unfortunately, what you're going to get is a lot of negative stuff. So what we've made sure we do, no matter what, is put out all of the positive experiences that we've had since we've been here and all of the times that we've visited. We've never had a negative experience. Not one. South Africans have been amazing to us, and we want other people to understand that they can have that same experience. And number two, South Africa is not, I won't say a poor country. They're not in a place where they need help, per se, and there's not animals running around. There's people are not living in huts, like there's actual houses. So just to let them know that the country in and of itself is very functional, has an amazing infrastructure, and just have them believe that when they come here, they will see people who are doing beautiful things, running businesses, having a good time, enjoying their families and their friends. So that's the whole point that we want to show people in America that look like us, that when they come here, they're going to see people that look just like them, doing the same things that they do back home, and it's just better here.
And Mark, we can never have a conversation about South Africa and the United States without looking at what is currently happening in the country where you both come from. We're seeing lots of protests around the Black Lives Matter movement, and we saw the latest incident of the shooting of a man who's now left paralyzed in hospital, and really some protest scenes that we have been seeing coming out of that country. When you look back and you look at these protests, how does that make you feel?
Well, guys, there you have it. It's really encouraging to see that there are people who are really making a conscious effort to promote the continent from which they come from. Please, if you are interested, check out www.therealsouthafrica.co or therealsouthafrica.com. And the interesting thing about Mr. Belton is that he was actually an American secret agent. So what I'm saying is that he wasn't, those people that are working 10 shifts in America and or working at McDonald's, so he needed a better place here. No, he had a very comfortable life. I don't know about the secret agent action, but in terms of financially, he was okay. So he didn't come here because he had run out of options in America, and this was the place where he could come and show himself up. So I think if people of that caliber are moving here, it's even worthwhile to us as a continent. And they are running various repatriation programs, excursions, exit, cushioning, welcoming programs. So please check it out. And if you have any friends that are interested in coming back home, please send them to them. They'll be received with very warm hands. And we need to, have more and more people killing the idea and the narrative that Africa is a jungle. You heard her. She said every time she thought of Africa, she thought of crime and that it was a jungle and poverty. But she has learned, and since they've been here since 2011, they have never had a single incident. They came here for the World Cup in 2010, never had an incident, and ever since they've even stayed here permanently, they've never had an incident. So that is positive, and I think that's something very beautiful to celebrate. Thank you so much. You are loved and blessed.